Consider the function that assigns to each number x the value x squared minus 4. Do you think the function is linear or nonlinear? We've talked about how an exponent of 2 is not an exponent of 1 or an exponent of 0. So this is nonlinear. Linear functions only have an exponent of 0 or 1 on the variable. So since it is a 2 as an exponent, it will be non-linear. Do you expect the graph of this function to be a straight line? Since it is non-linear, this graph will not form a straight line. C. Develop a list of inputs and outputs for this function. They're already there, but I'm going to show you where we get those numbers from. If I put in -3 and I square it, -3 squared is 9, because a negative times a negative makes a positive. If I take -2 and square it, that gives me 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. -1 times -1 is 1. 1 minus 4 is -3. 0 squared minus 4. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 4 is -4. 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 4 is -3. 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. And lastly, 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. So I have all of those inputs matching up with each of their outputs. And now we're going to graph them. So if I go to -3, 1, 2, 3 in the negative direction, I need to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put my point there. Then I have -2, 0. -1, -3. So back to -1 and down 3. Zero, -4, that's going to run off my screen just a little bit. 1, -3, 2, 0, and 3, 5. So if we were to connect those, we would end up with, here we go, a bit of a curve. This is called a parabola, and it is a fancy name for an expression that has an x squared term in it. Then it says, was your prediction correct? Yes, this does not create a straight line. Two, consider the function that assigns to each number x greater than -3 the value 1 divided by x plus 3. Is this function linear or nonlinear? At the very beginning of the school year, we learned that an x in the denominator was the same thing as an x with a negative exponent. So in this one, since the exponent is not 0 or 1, we are going to say it is non-linear. The variable has an exponent of -1. Do you expect it to create a straight line? Well, it's nonlinear, so it should not create a straight line. If I were to plug in a -2 as my input, where the x is, -2 plus 3 gives me a 1. 1 over 1 is the same as 1. If I put a -1 in the x spot, -1 plus 3 gives me a 2. So our next value would be 1/2. A 0 in the x block, when added to 3, gives me 3. So our output for that value is 1/3. If I put a 1, 1 plus 3 is 4, which is a value of 1/4. If I put a 2, 2 plus 3 is 5. And if I put a 3, 3 plus 3 is 6. Now we are going to graph those. At -2, we are going to go up to 1. At -1, we are going to 1/2, which is in between 1 and 0. Then we are at 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, and then 1/6. And we're going to create a curve through those points. So was our prediction that it was not a straight line correct?